Holland have pulled their usual trick of collapsing when a little bit of pressure is applied, which is a shame because they started so well. Anyway, never mind football. I want to do another book review with you. This one here, Flat Earth, by Christine Garwood, subtitled The History of an Infamous Idea. This is a very interesting read, believe it or not. This is not just a book going on about how crazy flat Earth belief is, but it goes into the whole history of it. The whole 150 or so years of history of flat Earth belief. Yeah, you heard that right. 150 odd years. Because before that, flat Earth belief wasn't really that far spread, believe it or not. Ever since the ancient Greeks, knowledge that the Earth is in fact globular, the form of a ball, was widespread amongst educated people. The Greeks established that the Earth was round. They did experiments. They even came up with a pretty decent estimate of its actual size, at least in the right ballpark. And ever since then, people have known that the Earth was globular. No, in the Dark Ages, people hadn't forgotten that the Earth was globular. They did believe it. Columbus, for example, didn't go sailing west in order to prove that the Earth was round. That the Earth was round was generally accepted in educated circles. No, he wanted to sail west in order to prove that you could get to Asia quicker that way, or that it even was doable, because some people thought that the ocean towards the west was so large that a ship voyage was not feasible. But not because you would sail off the edge of the Earth or anything like that. That wasn't the issue. Even Galileo and his struggle with the Catholic Church, it was not about the shape of the Earth. The Catholic Church at the time accepted that the Earth was globular. No, it was the location of the Earth in the universe. According to the Catholic Church, it had to be in the center of the universe. According to Galileo, it was just a planet revolving around the sun like all the other planets. So what's going on? Why did this raise its head about 150 or so years ago? In the 1840s, I believe. Well, it all started with one man who went by the alias of Parallax. He pretty much came up with the whole flat Earth idea and the whole concept of zetics. And in fact, the underlying idea is not that bad. The underlying idea of zetics is to only believe, only lend credence to what you can observe with your own eyes. Now that sounds like a quite, your own senses anyway. Well, that sounds like quite a laudable sort of attitude to have. Except when it comes to the point of just rejecting anything that doesn't fit in with your own worldview. You see, the problem with zetics, flat Earth believers and so on, is that they have this huge hang-up about accepting anything on authority in a scientific arena. Now again, there's nothing wrong with that. But when it gets to the point where they reject experiments that they can easily repeat for themselves, simply out of some sort of principle, that's where they're going off the deep end. And that all started back in 1840-ish with this man called Parallax. He then proceeded to tour the whole of the United Kingdom, England, and do speeches about this synthetic idea and the flat earth idea. Now there's still some debate going on, some controversy about this man himself, whether he actually genuinely believed that the earth was flat or not. But his followers certainly did. He had his own Huxley, his own bulldog, a man called Hampden, just like Darwin had his Huxley. And this guy was a fanatic. After Parallax died, he took over the reins of the whole flat earth movement, and he was a fanatic not only on the synthetic ideas, but also about biblical literalism and so on and so forth. And that's how that worked its way, how that really worked its way into the whole thing. So that's how the ball got rolling, and that's how it has been rolling ever since. The mantle of the flat earth societies has been taken over one by one ever since then by different individuals. There was, for example, the settlement of Zion in Illinois. There also was something that I would nearly join, and that was the Canadian Flat Earth Society, the Flat Earth Society of Canada, which was a tongue-in-cheek endeavor. Its members never really believed that the earth was flat, but they used the whole thing as a vehicle to point out a number of interesting philosophical ideas around science and authoritarianism within the scientific establishment, how science is still subject to, like any other human endeavor, is subject to politics and so on and so forth. So from that perspective, they were actually doing quite a interesting job there. They just hung it on this humorous hook, this kind of tongue-in-cheek flat earth society theme. But other flat earth societies have always been deadly, deadly serious. And that's what this book is about. It basically explains the history of those 150 years or so of flat earth societies, mostly in England and the United States, but really worldwide. It goes into the moon landing hoaxes, conspiracies and conspiracy theories and things like that. It's an entertaining read and well worth reading. So I recommend this book.